Okay, this video is in response to the question, we had a question in the Sam Goulden Clubhouse, the private Facebook group, asking about launch angle. And I think the question comes from just a little bit of confusion about sort of ball position and launch angles relative to forward shaft lean. And if you haven't seen the ball position video, definitely check that out. That's in the Clubhouse as well. Let's get into it. Number one, if we're getting set up with forward shaft lean with a short iron, like a wedge or a 9-iron or 8-iron or even maybe possibly 7-iron, we're going to have the handle pointed pretty much right at our left hip bone. And that's because we're presetting this powerful, strong, sort of, compressing kind of impact alignment. So we're getting set up. The ball position kind of ends up right around our sternum. So the ball position's there. The handle's pointed at the left hip bone. Might have a little weight left and a braced right leg. And we're going to hit a shot. This is a pretty typical 6-iron shot for me. I didn't pure it, but I'm looking at the flight scope numbers right now. My launch angle was 17.7 degrees, actually a little high for me. My carry number was 190. So yeah, so that shot launched a little high. And you might think if I'm presetting my alignments, if I'm putting the handle forward, then I would launch it a lot lower. And absolutely, I should launch it lower. Most players on the PGA Tour are launching it 3 to 4 degrees lower than the average kind of mid to high handicap. So because most players are flipping a bit, adding a little loft through impact, the ball's launching a lot higher than a tour player where he's maintaining impact alignments or driving through and compressing the ball. Some might say covering it. So I'm going to show you how to tweak this launch angle and still hit it powerfully. Obviously, I launched that at 17.7. That's actually higher than my 7-iron normally launches. So it was a really high 6-iron for me, but I still carried it 190 yards. So if that's the case, obviously I maintain some pretty powerful impact alignments. So I'm going to go a little low this time. So basically I'm going to make sure that at impact I've got less loft on the club face. I'm going to see if I can get one to launch closer to like 13 or 14. So really solid strike. Definitely a lower launch. That's 14.5 degree launch angle. That one carried 208. So we've now picked up 18 yards of carry by launching it lower. For the average player who's launching it too high, definitely launching it lower is going to improve your distance. So that's a lower one. Now for a higher one, really all I have to be aware of is that at impact, I still want to maintain these alignments, these powerful alignments that I would see in like a baseball player or a really aggressive tennis player with a really strong forehand, where the handle is kind of supported in this way rather than it flipping out. So as long as I maintain those alignments, I'm going to hit it, I'm going to compress the ball, I'm going to really strike it solidly. But in order to maintain those alignments and hit it higher, I need the ball to be at a position in my arc where the club isn't angled so much forward. So the shaft isn't leaning so much toward the target. The more the shaft leans toward the target, the less loft I have on the club head. So if I want to hit it with less shaft lean, I have to have the ball in my arc in a place where there's going to be less shaft lean. That being said, I don't want to be flipping or adding loft with my hand. So I still want to hit it solidly, but I want the ball in a position in my arc with where I'm not going to have so much forward shaft lean, so I'm not going to have such a low shot. And this really just kind of leads us into our hybrids and our fairway woods. So again, this is 6-iron. I've got the ball position now a little bit more in front of my left sternum. In front of my sternum, I still got the handle pointed at my hip bone, but because the ball's forward, now there's less forward shaft lean. So I'm going to hit this one, and as I do this, I'm setting up with the handle at my hip bone, ball forward, and I've got a little bit of tilt in my spine now because I intend to shallow out my angle of attack so I'm not so steep or so much forward shaft lean at impact. So here we go with that one. So this one I would say I kind of stayed back on it, or I tilted my spine back, and the launch angle was 18 degrees. So 18.1. So I went from 14.4 to 18.1. My carry distance on that shot went 185. So this is actually pretty evident. I increased the launch angle, and then that brought the carry number back toward me. Very much like if you were playing baseball and you hit a pop fly, the ball's not going to make it out. I mean, the more you pop it up, the shorter that shot's going to be. So there's an optimal launch angle for every club, and that's something that you can definitely find on samgoldengolf.com or in other videos, but like I said, that's another video. But I think the idea for you to understand is that impact needs to be powerful. Impact needs to look like Albert Pujols, or any one of these players that, athletes that really smash or compress the ball. There's no getting around that. So if we're going to do that, if we want to be at that place at impact, there's no reason for us not to set up in a position that's pretty close to that. And if we can get set up in a position that's close to it, and then just really intend to and practice maintaining that powerful impact through impact or as long as possible, then we can definitely start compressing it a lot more and hitting a lot more controlled shots. So I'm going to hit one more. I'll hit this one really high, see if I can do it without mishitting it, which is a little bit tricky because the more angled up I get my swing arc, the more my low point moves back. Yeah, so this one's pretty high. Vertical launch, 21.3. Still got a decent carry out of it, 186. But I launched that one extremely high, and that's just because through impact, I made sure that I had my sort of spine back, but maintained my impact alignment. So you can launch it high and still hit it far, but there is an optimal launch angle for every club based on your speed or your ability to swing it. So hopefully that's helpful for you. If you're not in the Sam Goulden Clubhouse, feel free to check it out. It is a paid membership. It's for those of you who want like daily feedback and swing reviews and things like that. And you can sign up on samgoldengolf.com. And if you are in the clubhouse, you're obviously already in the clubhouse. So thanks for watching. Feel free to tag a friend who might benefit from this information. Share this with somebody who might benefit from this information. And like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Thanks again.